Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing today? So this is the second upload for today. Yes, earlier was very crazy for me, as you saw. But I've been speaking to Andrew off and on all day today, and he's okay. So he just keeps saying, "Mom, I just can't wait to come home and eat your cooking." So typical boy. He's giving me a list of actually all the things that he wants to eat when he comes home. So I went prep shopping today. I went Andrew prep shopping today. Let me clarify that. I got him things that he, uses on a daily basis. The protein powders for the protein shakes. The place that I always go to, the Vitamin Shop, they have their brand of the protein powders for the protein shakes. Buy one, get one 50% off. Yeah. And, protein shakes, let me just say this before I get started. They're actually very good to have in your preps. First, they are very filling, and they can replace a meal. Yeah. So if that's not something that you've thought about having in your preps, maybe that's something that you should think about having in your preps, okay? They come in different flavors. It's not just chocolate or vanilla. I actually got Andrew strawberry banana. They have, you know what? Let me go get them and I'll show you. Okay, so this is what it's called Body Tech. Okay, and it's a whey protein, okay? And this one is salted caramel, okay? And then they come in different sizes, so you can get small containers or you can get the big containers. But the big containers, this is not the biggest containers that they have. The biggest containers that they have are $75. But they're literally humongous containers. And like I said, they're buy one, get one 50% off. But this one is Fruity Pebbles, and then they have this one, peanut butter. And then this one is the strawberry banana. So, these are really good meal replacements, okay? So, if you haven't thought about stocking up on something like this, these are really good to add to your prepper pantry, okay? Because like I said, they're meal replacements. If you don't, if you're trying to condition your body to only eating once a day, which a lot of us are starting to do, this is a good way of only doing for maybe breakfast and lunch, and then eating food for dinner. Okay. This is a very good way of doing it. So that's what I did today. I stocked up on these for Andrew. Plus, I stocked up on more of my vitamins because you know how I am with vitamins. So anyway, the few things that I wanted to talk about earlier, I didn't, and so here we are. Okay, I'll do this now. So apparently, okay, there's huge lines that are forming outside of banks in Afghanistan after the Taliban imposed a strict $200 weekly withdrawal limit on citizens as the country faces an economic crisis. A day after U.S. troops withdrew from the country, Afghans were spotted lining up for hours outside of banks in Kabul. And banks that closed as soon as the Taliban seized Kabul have since been ordered to reopen in a bid to get Afghanistan's economy moving. But The Taliban are enforcing weekly withdrawal limits, and thousands are facing hours of waiting in line just to get their cash. One line outside of an Afghan national bank in Kabul saw thousands lining up, 5 and 6 alongside each other, trying to withdraw money. While many Afghans fear life under the Taliban, some say they're more worried about the potential economic collapse. So, many Afghans, particularly civil servants, say they haven't been paid in months, and others say their salaries have been cut by as much as 75% under the new Taliban rule. The local currency has been losing value, and inflation has been rising since the Taliban overran the country on August 15th. Everything is expensive now. Prices are going up every day, Kabul residents said. And they also said they saw tomatoes that cost 50 Afghanis the day before, and now they're selling for 80. So one unnamed vendor said 2 weeks ago, people were buying, but now the situation is not good and no one is buying. People's money is stuck in the banks and no one has money to buy anything. There's a man, his name is Noorullah, and that's Noorullah, who has run a hardware store for 11 years. He told the Associated Press he hasn't had a single customer since the Taliban arrived. The banks are closed. All the people who have money are running away from the country. No one is bringing money here. This is god-awful. So, it's happening there. So now they're feeling what we're feeling. Inflation, what's going on with banks, okay? And here's another article about the same thing. The growing economic hardship is merging as their biggest challenge with a sinking currency, rising inflation, adding misery to a country where more than a third of the population lives on less than, get this, $2 a day. Can you imagine living on less than $2 a day? Think about that. Living on less than $2 a day. Can you do that? Just to go back and forth to work, for Sean to go back and forth to work, it's not possible. It's really not. Just gas alone. It costs more than $2 a day. Then to eat, I mean, he takes, stuff from home for lunch. But coffee. If you want to drink at work. I mean, unless you bring bottled water or whatever, but still. Less than $2 a day. Even for the relatively well off over there, with many offices and shops still shut and salaries unpaid for weeks, the daily struggle to put food on the table has become an overwhelming preoccupation. Oh, wow. People huddling in tent shelters by roadsides and in parks are a common sight over there. The Afghani was recently valued, and that's their dollar, I guess you could say. Their currency is called the Afghani, was recently valued at around 93 to 95 to the dollar in both Kabul and the eastern city of Jalalabad, Jalalabad, compared with around 80 just before the fall of the city. But the rate is only an indicator because normal money trading has dried up. Boy. I'll leave this link in the description box below because you know I always do that for you guys. So you have resources to look at and stuff like that. But then this blew me away. Because I'm just going to read it to you, and then you guys can just think what you want, okay? Pope Francis has criticized the West's recent involvement in Afghanistan as an outsider's attempt to impose democracy, although he did it by citing Russia's Putin while thinking he was quoting Germany's Angela Merkel. Asked during a radio interview aired on Wednesday about the new political map taking shape in Afghanistan after the United States and its allies withdrew from the Taliban-controlled country after 20 years of war, the Pope said he would rather, with a quote that he attributed to the German Chancellor, whom he described as one of the world's greatest political figures. It's necessary to stop the irresponsible policy of enforcing its own values on others and attempts to build democracy in other countries based on outside models without taking into account historic, ethnic, and religious issues, and fully ignoring other people's traditions, the Pope said, using his own translation into Spanish. But the words were spoken last month by the Russian president in the presence of Merkel during her visit to Moscow. Now, during the meeting on August 20th, Putin scathingly criticized the West over Afghanistan, saying that the Taliban's rapid sweep over the country has shown the futility of Western attempts to enforce its own vision of democracy. Merkel, meanwhile, urged Russia to use its contacts with the Taliban to press for Afghan citizens to help Germany to be allowed to leave Afghanistan. The Pope's interview with Spain, Cadena Cope, took place at the Vatican late last week, and the radio station owned by Spain's Catholic Bishops' Conference aired the talk on Wednesday and said that its content had been vetted by the Pope himself. Francis also said that all eventualities were not taken into account in the departure of the Western allies from Afghanistan. I don't know if there will be any revision of what happened during the withdrawal, but there was much deceiving from the new authorities of Afghanistan, said the Pope. Either that or just too much ingenuity. Otherwise, I don't understand. Francis called for Christians across the world to engage in prayer, penance, and fasting in the face of events in Afghanistan. We can all pray 24/7. I know that I say prayer every day. I don't just pray for my son and for the military. I pray for everything. I pray that God will get us through all of this, okay? I really do. But you can't undo what's already been done. I pray for the parents of the service members that have perished. I pray for all of us. I really do. I really do. All right, guys. That's all for this video. I will see you tomorrow. Okay. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less.